All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome into Fox 10 Talk Sports pregame. Just myself, Robby Baker, right now. Blake Niemann will be joining us shortly. He was working on a special ASU story today, a busy ASU day for Blake Niemann. He was at the Legends Luncheon this morning talking with Super Bowl champion, former New England Patriot, former ASU great Lawrence Guy. And then after that, had to run around to shoot another feature on the ASU football team. So he's on his way back here to the palatial Fox 10 Talk Sports studios. But you're just stuck with me right now in the interim period. But a busy weekend for the Sun Devils. It is homecoming weekend. The West Virginia Mountaineers in town. It is also the Salute to Service weekend, honoring our veterans. That Arizona State plays one of those Salute to Service themed games every year. If you haven't seen the video yet, they have special uniforms for this game. Kind of a white helmets, maroon jersey, white pants, and then on the helmet, they wore a similar helmet last year. It's got a PT-42 decal on it. That would be the uniforms for the Sun Devils this weekend. Talking about the product on the field, you have the 6-4 Sun Devils, the 4-6 West Virginia Mountaineers, ASU at 4-2. Still alive in the Big 12 standings. They still need a lot of help when it comes to the Big 12, how things could potentially shake out if ASU wants to punch their ticket back to the Big 12 championship game. Still a lot needs to happen, not only for ASU to win out the rest of the way, but they need some help from other teams losing and other tiebreaker scenarios. We're not going to get into all that right now. What we will say is ASU, West Virginia, ASU, this is a must-win game in terms of ASU's aspirational hopes of getting back to Arlington. And this is a West Virginia team that has kind of come on here a little bit in the last couple weeks. When they got into Big 12 play, they were 2-1 entering Big 12 play. They'd come off a big win, upset win over a Pitt Panthers team that Pitt is taking on Notre Dame this weekend. College game day, top 25 showdown. That win over Pitt is West Virginia's best win of the season. And then they entered Big 12 play with 5 straight losses. So things kind of got sideways on West Virginia early in the season, but the last 2 weeks, they upset Houston on the road 45-35, and then their last time out, they beat Colorado by a touchdown. So this is a West Virginia team that now comes into Tempe with 2 straight wins, 2 straight Big 12 wins. So in terms of, yes, West Virginia overall this season has had a rough go at it, but they're kind of coming into Tempe on a bit of a roll right now. So let us know what you think about this matchup in the chat, or if you're going to the game. It's going to be an interesting 11 a.m. kickoff tomorrow. Not a lot of 11 a.m. kickoffs that we get at Sun Devil Stadium, but cooler weather, TV selections, and things of that nature. That's how we have an 11 a.m. kickoff tomorrow between the Mountaineers and the Sun Devils. But this will be an interesting game on a few fronts. One, like I said, of course, West Virginia coming in kind of hot right now, if you will. And then ASU still very much banged up. It's Jeff Sims running quarterback for the rest of the season. Sam Levitt had surgery to repair the injury with his foot, so he is out for the rest of the year. You all already knew that. So this is the Jeff Sims show. This is Jeff Sims having previously just broke every record seemingly for the Sun Devils in that Iowa State game. This is a Sun Devil team that is coming off of a bye week as well, a bye week where they basically had the whole week off. That was something that Kenny Dillingham said after the Iowa State game he was going to do. He wanted everybody just to get out, reset their minds, reset their bodies for this final 3-game stretch. So how will the Sun Devils look after getting that kind of mental and physical reset? We'll find out tomorrow early at 11 a.m. Local time here in Arizona. I will say, having been around the facility last week during the bye week, filming segments for the Sparky's Den show along with Blake, it was pretty barren. Like everybody adhered to Coach Kenny's mindset there and philosophy of getting out and enjoying and resetting during the bye week, because there was not a lot of bodies around the facility at the middle part of last week during the bye week, which is exactly what Coach Kenny wanted. It'll be interesting to see how this Sun Devil offense looks with Jeff Sims, because, again, coming off of a record-breaking performance against Iowa State, that was really the first time that Jeff Sims had a full week knowing he was going to be the starting quarterback. It was the first time that this coaching staff had really had a chance to game plan something specific for Jeff Sims in terms of, tailoring the offense to him. It wasn't Jeff Sims running Sam Levitt's offense. This was a game plan built around Jeff Sims and using his athleticism and his legs to ultimately beat Iowa State 2 weeks ago. Will that work again against West Virginia? We'll find out tomorrow. West Virginia now has a lot of film on what ASU did, of course. All of the Big 12 teams have film on what ASU did to beat Iowa State, so it will make it even harder to replicate such a performance. But you have to factor in the fact that it is a home game, of course, for Arizona State homecoming. They just announced today, they sent out, saw an email about an hour ago, 6th straight sellout at Mountain America Stadium. So even though it's an early kickoff, even though things have kind of not gone exactly as the Sun Devils had hoped this year, it is still going to be a full crowd, a packed stadium. And as Blake and I have talked on this show numerous times, it's very hard to pick against Arizona State at home. Even though they did, the last time they were home, they did lose to Houston. That was still a game that late, that home crowd was still kind of trying to spur that team on to make a comeback that they ultimately almost did. They got the ball back down 8 with about a minute and a half left, and Jeff Sims just couldn't pull off the final magic trick there against Houston. But being at home, having that home crowd behind him, and then having another, 2 weeks now, if you include the bye week, to get his, even more comfortable operating this offense, it would lead you to believe that Jeff Sims and the Sun Devils could come out of this one victorious. No Jordan Tyson in this game. He has been ruled out again as he's still dealing with that hamstring injury. This isn't inside information, but I would venture to guess that Jordan Tyson is probably going to want to be back for that road trip to Colorado in 2 weeks, because Jordan Tyson, if you may remember, Sun Devil fans, was at Colorado when Deion Sanders took over that program, and there was he's bringing his Louis luggage and everything, and if you weren't part of his plan, you may have to transfer, and so Jordan Tyson transferred to Tempe, and here he is, Blake Niemann, coming in hot.
What's up, people?
Coming in hot to Fox 10 Talk Sports pregame. We kind of just run down the ASU situation. It's a Mountaineers team that has not had a successful season, but they've won 2 straight entering this game. So ASU's kind of catching West Virginia at a quote-unquote bad time. And it's an ASU team that has Jeff Sims, record-breaking quarterback performance, but the bye week, the full total mind, body, soul reset that the Sun Devil team kind of enjoyed. Didn't have a chance to get to practice this week for various reasons. What was your sense of the energy level, the physicality at practice, considering this team was coming off of basically 3 or 4 straight days where there was no football activity other than maybe watching film?
Yeah, it was high intensity. Get my get myself framed up.
Yeah,
it's in a frame.
Hey.
We're coming in hot here on Fox 10 Talks pregame. But yeah, from my point of view, the intensity at practice was about the same as you could expect beforehand, which is a good thing because, like you said, they're coming off a week of rest and we're getting reset. So I think that based on my observations, the physicality, the intent, the intensity was there for a lot of the team this week. And look, Kenny Dillingham said it on Wednesday. This team loves Jeff Sims. He says Jeff Sims is a man of the people. They really enjoy being around him. He's developed close relationships with a lot of guys on that team, and they're just fully behind him. I think they've found this rejuvenation and this chip on their shoulder once again. I think ASU always thrives off the underdog mentality, and I think that's what they're using to propel them now, using the chip on their shoulder that they've gained from now people doubting them. Okay, you don't have Sam Levitt, you don't have Jordan Tyson. How can you possibly win and find yourself back in the conference championship conversation? Well, they go out and prove people wrong against Iowa State. Now I think they're going to try and start that trend and continue it over these final 3 games, which this one is very important for the rest. I mean, ASU has to win out.
They have to win out, yeah.
To have any sort of conference championship hopes at all. But this one right here is key, because then if you win this one, no win is guaranteed, but Colorado looks like a pretty easy win.
And that I was saying as you were running down the hallway that it's not inside information, but I would venture a guess that Jordan Tyson is going to do everything he can to have a Jordan Tyson revenge game against Colorado.
That is the expectation as of right now. Kenny Dillingham has said that as well, that the expectation is for Jordan Tyson to be back for that Colorado game, the place where he started his college career. And so then it sets up one of the most important territorial cup games in quite some time.
I'm so excited for that game.
It's
I mean,
gonna
that
be
game's
high stakes.
That game is always exciting, but this year, if you don't know and you're watching the stream, the game is on Fox 10. We're going to have live pregame coverage on the field leading up to kickoff, live coverage after the game. I mean, and the stakes, in this game as well. It may not be for a berth in the Big 12 championship game, but it may be for a berth in a top-tier bowl game still with the tie-ins that the Big 12 and technically the Pac-12 still has these tie-ins as well, because this is the last year of the old Pac-12 teams.
So ASU could find themselves, being that they are tied still to the Pac-12, they could find themselves anywhere from the Holiday Bowl to the LA Bowl,
LA Bowl, the Snoop Dogg Gin and Juice Arizona Bowl.
Yeah, so there's all sorts of bowl games.
We're holding out hope for the Pop-Tarts Bowl. That's going to be hard to get to the Pop-Tarts Bowl for various reasons that we will get into as we get into bowl season.
Yeah, because this is the final year that ASU is still tied to the Pac-12 affiliation for bowl games specifically. It was for the 24 and 25 seasons. So then after this, the reconstructed Pac-12 will then take over those bowl games, and now ASU will be a full-fledged member of Big 12 bowl affiliations after that. But still, lots to play for. Last year, the Territorial Cup, it was big in that ASU was playing for a berth in the Big 12 championship, but going into the matchup, U of A was pretty bad, and ASU was really dang good, and it was just kind of lopsided. So now you look at it, this could be very evenly matched, even if you consider ASU is down down Sam Leavitt with Jeff Sims. You still have Jordan Tyson. I think it could still be very compelling.
No, it's
and it's at home.
Yeah, it's in Tempe, and if this Saturday's game, I don't know if you saw the email they sent out while you were driving, but hopefully not because you were driving. But sixth straight sellout tomorrow. They announced a sellout today, and when we were talking to athletic director Graham Rossini yesterday, he said as of yesterday around this time, it wasn't officially sold out yet, but the anticipation was they were going to get there with the few tickets that were left, and ultimately here we are, another sellout. And so it doesn't matter that there's no Sam Leavitt. It doesn't matter that there's been a couple unexpected losses.
Or the win streak ended at
Or the
home.
win streak is ended. It doesn't matter. It's an 11 a.m. kickoff. Sun Devil Nation is still going to be out in full force. The salute to service game, as well as I was saying, the special PT-42 helmets and the uniform patches and everything. So always a little extra juice when you get that as well, because all of the ties the university has through Pat Tillman to our service members. So we're going to take a quick break right now. We'll come out on the other side of this, and I will probably take me 45 minutes to get Well, there he is. Okay. Welcome back into Fox 10 Talk Sports pregame. Robby Baker, Blake Niemann here. We talked a little ASU. We'll get into our predictions. Our assistant news director, Neil Wolf, came back during the break and wanted us. We did do a show during ASU's bye week last week because also the Cardinals were on their way to getting destroyed by the Seahawks. So we had to talk about what we anticipated happening in that game. But Neil wanted us to make sure we mentioned on the stream that we were grossly incorrect with what we thought was going to happen in the Iowa State game.
This is true.
We did predict that ASU was going to lose that game. The week prior to that, we also predicted ASU was going to beat Houston. We were wrong about that. So we are riding an 0-for-2 streak going in for this weekend, although I would venture to say that we were both happy that we were wrong about the Iowa State game.
I would say so.
So
yeah,
sometimes it's good to be incorrect in this prognostication world, if you will. Let's dive into Cardinals, though, real quick. Just bear with me. I'm going to just read the injury report at this point because otherwise, how will we even know who's available to play anymore on this team? Kelvin Beachum, questionable for the game. Baron Browning, the edge rusher, out. Marvin Harrison Jr. had his appendicitis. He is out. Will Johnson, the cornerback, out. Dadrian Taylor Demerson, ankle, out. Jonah Williams, offensive lineman, out. Matt Wilson, the quarterback of the defense, for a second straight week, he is out. Will Hernandez, the offensive lineman, is questionable. He was a limited participant today in practice. Bam Knight, the running back, who left the game in Seattle, he was a limited participant all week. He is questionable for this game. Walter Nolan, who had the incredible Monday Night Football debut, he got injured in Seattle. He's been a limited participant all week. He's questionable. Darius Robinson, questionable. Who am I missing here? BJ Ojolari, still working his way back. We haven't seen him this year. His practice window was activated, I believe it was last week. He was a limited participant all week. He's questionable. Calais Campbell, it looks like he's an unspecified for the game. Today, it looks like, based on the injury report, today was just a rest day for Big Calais. But my gosh, man, I had to do...
And Kyler Murray's on IR.
That one I just kind of grandfathered in. I did the NFC West huddle today where we talk with all the other station affiliates of NFC West teams, and they asked, basically if there was one thing you could change or adjust or position group player, what is one thing about your team that you wish you could change for the stretch going towards the playoffs? And at first I had to correct the hosts of the show and say, I don't mean to overtake things here. This is not about going to the playoffs, because the Cardinals are not going to the playoffs this year. If I could change anything about this team, it would just be to give them some type of magic healing wand, because at a certain point, it's not an excuse, because every team is dealing with injuries at various levels and times of the year. But I cannot remember a Cardinals season that not only has gone sideways so fast as it has with the expectations going into the year, but then you compile that with the injuries. And there was already a little margin, the margin for error was shrinking each week with the losses to the Titans and the losses starting to add up. And then you add the injuries on top of it. And it's just, they're just continuing to dig themselves into a hole here.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. You never like to see guys get injured, right? But this is the situation the Cardinals are at. They're down to their second-string quarterback. Their star wide receiver is now out for this week. Their Mike, like you said, the quarterback of the defense, their Mike linebacker is done for this week. It's just like you're losing super critical pieces, and then your second-round pick, who could have probably been a first-round pick, Will Johnson, and then your first-round pick, Walter Nolan, who's missed most of the season.
He looked so good against Dallas. We'll always have that Dallas game.
He really looks solid, but it seems like, I'm just speculating, it seems like he may have re-aggravated that same calf injury.
They list him technically as a knee.
Okay.
Is limited participant with a knee injury. And then I have to scroll up the injury list to get to Will Johnson. He had lower body. I think it was a groin, if I remember right, that he missed a couple weeks earlier in the year. He is listed as out, did not practice all week with a back/hip injury. So that could be something
the thing,
different.
Though, that I think there needs to be some conversation about is that I'm pretty sure, definitely with Will Johnson, there were some things that came back on his physical that caused him to slide to the second round.
I don't want to get this wrong. I think it was something to do with his knee.
There was something, but there was a concern.
Absolutely, yeah.
With Walter Nolan, I don't believe it was so much a medical concern as it was like a character concern. And from interacting with Walter Nolan, there has been no character issues between us and the media.
Oh, and the guys, especially if a guy like Calais Campbell is raving about you in the locker room and excited for you to be able to play. And I mean, Calais Campbell's been around so long. If he speaks as highly as he does about a rookie like he does about Walter Nolan, then that should say everything you need to know about who Walter is. So
that hasn't shown up too much so far. It's just an unfortunate way the cards have broken, and like literally, like a deck of cards metaphorically.
I see what you did.
And I didn't even mean to do that. But yeah, now it's like, as we talked about before the season, the early stretch is gone.
This is the brutal stretch now. This is where it stinks.
Like the chance you had to stack wins early on and give you some cushion going into your hardest part of your schedule, that's gone for.
And it's all of the good vibes from Monday Night Football, where it was like, oh my gosh, they went to Dallas, Walter Nolan, Jacoby Brissett, bam, night. This team's going to turn it around. Then they went to Seattle and were down 100 touchdowns in the first quarter. And everyone's just looking around like, oh, okay. This is what it is. Okay, cool.
Like the Seahawks are legit, but in turn, the Cardinals are a basket case of injuries. And it's really unfortunate because there was tons of potential going into this season, and yet Trey McBride, who's probably the Cardinals' best player right now, he's one of the best in the NFL at his position. I believe he leads the league in receptions by a tight end and is second in touchdowns. So he's been continually doing his thing, but not a lot of help outside of that.
It's going to be such an interesting offseason.
Because Trey McBride literally might be an all-pro on a Cardinals team that may win 6 games.
Correct. Yes. I mean, he's definitely going to be a Pro Bowler. It's just going to be such an interesting offseason. And yeah, I mean, yes, we are at the point now. I mean, we'll talk about the 49ers game in the sense that we'll make a prediction for it. I think we're both going to predict the Cardinals will lose. For various reasons.
And Brock Purdy's
he
might be back.
Supposed to be back, I think.
Arizona homecoming, he's going to have some extra incentive.
And the Cardinals historically just do not play well against NFC West teams in the last decade or so.
But they're winless in the division this year.
In this year, they are. Yeah, it's everything's just been bad. But just to get back, I mean, we're to the point now where it's almost time to start talking about the offseason and looking at mock drafts and things like that. It's going to be interesting for one because of the Kyler Murray cloud that hangs over the whole offseason, but also now with the injuries and everything. I mean, there's no way that this coaching staff will come back if the season continues to go this way. I do not foresee a way that this coaching staff comes back 100% intact. You can't have a season that not only with the injuries, but even before the injuries, there was problems with this team. And I don't know if it's the head coach, the offensive coordinator, but you just cannot run 100% everything back and change 1 or 2 players and convince the fans magically it's better. It doesn't work that way. So the Kyler Murray question is going to be the number one thing everyone wants to know. That's going to take time to sort out. Closer immediacy to the end of the season, we'll get clarity on coaches, coaching staff, all that stuff. It's crazy to think that this was year 3 of this rebuild, that everyone was so excited as, this is it. Year 3 of the rebuild, the make or break year for Kyler Murray. He's going to ball out and maybe have a Pro Bowl type season, get this team to the playoffs. And this organization now is closer to resetting the clock on another rebuild. They're closer to that than they are making the playoffs, and it's just hard because you're in this NFC West division that going into the season, people thought, Seahawks, I don't know, Sam Darnold, there's a lot of question marks on that team. All of a sudden, the Seahawks look like they can win the Super Bowl. The Rams, they're always just going to be, as long as Sean McVay is there, I don't care if you or I are playing quarterback, Blake. Like, as long as Sean McVay is running that team and they have a certain level of health luck throughout the season, they're going to be viable. And then the 49ers. You talk about injuries, the 49ers haven't had their quarterback for most of the season.
Or their star linebacker,
Fred Warner, or Bosa, who got injured in the Cardinals game week 3. And you talk about injuries, the 49ers have been just as, if not more, banged up for the Cardinals. And what do you know? They're in 3rd place in the division with a winning record, and with the way they're they already played the hard part of their schedule. Now they're at the part of their schedule where they get the Saints and the Titans and the Panthers. So all of a sudden, the 49ers are going to get healthy and hit the easy part of their schedule. It's very hard to foresee a way, not only this year, but in the next year, next season even, that the Cardinals can can get back into a certain level in this division just because it's so tough.
There's something that's got to give. I don't know whether it's coaching. I don't know whether it's Kyler Murray being placed in a different position, trading him away, releasing him. I don't know how all that works. I'm not a front office guy. I'm not a general manager. I'm not a head coach. I've never stepped foot as a player in the National Football League, let alone college football. The last time I played football was my senior year of high school in 2022. So I don't have any say in terms of...
What position were you?
I was a free safety.
Oh, you were out there laying the lumber in the middle.
Love it.
Midfield. Oh, wow. Okay,
but
Niemann.
In terms of like speaking on what will likely happen, I'm not entirely sure, but I know for one thing, something has to change. You are right in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's moving Kyler, whether it's changing some members of this coaching staff, you can't just run it back entirely, right? And I think the biggest concern right now is I feel like the Cardinals are losing their fan base and what is happening right now. I mean, a few Sundays ago, there were more Packer fans in that building than there was Cardinal fans.
That's the tale as old as time. As Packers, Steelers, Cowboys, even honestly 49ers this weekend, it has been an issue for the Cardinals, whether it was at Sun Devil Stadium, Mountain America Stadium now, or out in Glendale. When those big market, not big market, but the marquee name teams come in, it's always a takeover. But
still, it feels like that's become more of a common thing this year, which I think is an issue. Like
there's no juice behind this team anymore.
There just hasn't been the same level of energy behind the Cardinals. And I mean, what reason do fans have to have the energy to continue to, I don't know, season ticket holders? Like, what's their incentive to keep doing this?
Yeah, right now.
If things are going sideways and there's no real optimism for what's ahead.
It feels like a lot of parallels between Mike Budenholzer with the Suns last year in terms of how many times did we watch Suns games last year and we could watch it with our eyes. This team, they did not play hard. They didn't seem like they cared at times. They didn't seem like they liked each other at times. And Mike Budenholzer would go up after every game and just say, well, the other team was better. We got to try harder. Other team was better tonight. And at a certain point, it was like, what are we doing here? And that's kind of where it feels like we've hit that point with the Cardinals now, where every week it's, well, the other team played better. We just got to coach better. We have to play better. We have to execute better on third down. And it's like, well, what point are you going to do it? Like, you got to do it. So we've talked a lot here. Only about a minute left in the show. Obviously, I'm assuming we're both taking the 49ers on Sunday. Saturday, I can't go against ASU at home. I got to feel a new streak here. Salute to service weekend. I think it's going to be a kind of a gutsy performance. I'm going to say 17-14 ASU. I think it's low scoring.
Low scoring.
I think it's low scoring.
I think the Sun Devils bounce back with Jeff Sims. He gets his second straight win as the Sun Devil starter, his first start at home.
At home, yes.
I'm going with a little bit more high scoring. I'm going to give Jeff Sims some credit. I'm going to go with a 31 to 21 ASU victory.
Oh, okay. So both of us still see it as a little bit of a close game. We'll see how it all plays out.